Welcome back to the All Ball Podcast, where it is all ball all the time. You are here with your host, Sean and Isaiah. As always, this is episode number 46, and today we're going to be talking about the conclusion of the finals between the Warriors and the Celtics. And then we're going to wrap things up with the confusion that is the Christian Wood trade. I guess that's one word to put it. But before all that, Isaiah, how you feeling today, man?
Well, first and foremost, I am very happy for the Warriors. I think they really deserve this win because a lot of people doubted them after the KD championships that they got. So I think this championship really means a lot for them, and especially for Steph since it's his first Finals MVP. So big congratulations to the Warriors. I'm very happy for them, and I'm very sorry for the Boston Celtics. They played really great this year. They played really great in the playoffs, but somebody had to win, and it just wasn't their time.
No, it wasn't. And I'm glad that you brought up the point that they played well this year, especially after having that really slow start to the season. Where I think a lot of us thought that it might be time to trade Jaylen Brown, and I think we had talked about that too. But it ended up being Jaylen Brown who was a little more consistent in this playoff run.
Yeah, he was definitely the vital piece to them at least keeping this series close.
So I guess before we go on into the conclusion of the finals, I want to ask you, what is one move or any moves that the Celtics should make during this offseason to put them in the same spot that they were this year?
Really, I don't think that there's any move necessarily that they could or should make, or at least no drastic move, because they got there. It was just a matter of executing when they got there, and that's something that didn't happen, thanks mostly in part to Jason Tatum, but between him just, having his more passive nature come out, which happens fairly often with him. And then on top of that, he was just getting locked up by Andrew Wiggins and Draymond and even Clay on some possessions. So he could only do so much. I think they just need to lock in, keep the squad pretty much the same, and just try and run it back.
And I have a feeling that they're more than likely going to decline Al Horford's team option just because of the amount that it is. Do you think that if they do decline it, that they should bring him back still?
Oh, absolutely. Al Horford was one of the most important parts of this run. Now, people like to meme on him because he had some really low scoring games. But at the same time, we're talking about the guy who got mad at Giannis and dropped, 30? And then he also had other 30-point games, which is asking for a lot out of Al Horford if he's giving you that. And he at least had some 20-plus games for sure. And then even in the closeout game of the finals, he was the best shooter on their team. So I think without a doubt, Al Horford needs to come back.
Right. And speaking of the closeout game, let's go ahead and move on to the final game, which was Game 6. What were your thoughts on that, just in general?
I think it was a really tough game to watch throughout the first few quarters. About somewhere around the third is where it's like, okay, the tension's gone. It's clear that the Warriors are going to win this. But throughout those first 2.5 basically quarters, yeah, it was a really tough one. It felt like it could go either way. Maybe Golden State could pull ahead some more, but then Boston would kind of fight back. And it was a really intense game. And I think both teams really gave all they had in that Game 6.
Klay Thompson, Game 6, Klay Thompson wasn't needed to win.
Oh man, the myth of Game 6 Klay has been debunked. Oh man, he was very awful in that game.
Is it Game 6 Jordan Poole now?
honestly, it might be Game 6 Draymond. It just might be. Because he did activate that sharpshooting take.
What was it that I don't was it Mike Breen that said that? That
Yeah,
was
I
like
think it was either him or I think Jeff Van Gundy responded or something. Yeah. Mike Breen said it, and then Jeff Van Gundy responded.
he's feeling
He's
it.
feeling it now. You can't make one and say that he's feeling it. Like,
Man goes 1 for 20 the whole series and instantly is feeling it.
oh no. He didn't make any before that. He was 0 for 12 before.
That's what I'm saying. Like he goes now 1 for 20 and now he's
But
feeling it.
I think it's very funny that Jeff Van Gundy said that because he proceeded to make another 3 later on in the game. So it's like, can I say I'm feeling it now? I made 2.
Yeah, he definitely, I guess you could even say, shocked the world with those with those 3-pointers made.
Oh man, shock the world. Oh man.
So I have to ask you this now because I asked you about the Celtics and their future for next season.
Mm-hmm.
For the Warriors, do you think that there's still a chance that they end up in the same situation as this year, which is obviously winning the finals?
I 100% believe that the chance is there because I believe from what I saw that Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins are still locked in for this next season. So they keep those 2 guys who were instrumental in this playoff run. Then Clay, he's more removed from that injury, so he's going to get back into the feel of things even more. Might even begin to look like his normal self more often.
Mm-hmm.
Draymond is Draymond. He's going to do what he does. Then Kevon Looney, I feel like he's not going to explode into some all-star kind of player or anything, but you can see that some growth has happened in this playoff run. So I think it's going to be important for him to be back. Hopefully he stays healthy for the season. And then the same for Steph. Steph is always going to be Steph. Even when he has his bad games, he's still Steph.
Mm-hmm. Do you think there's a move to be made during the offseason, or do you think they should just stay with what they have?
I am a big proponent of if you win, do it again. Don't make changes until you start losing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about finals-wise?
I don't think so. I think we touched on everything we needed to touch on.
Okay. Well, then let's go ahead and move on to, I guess, the biggest news about our team that we've had in a while.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately.
we have traded Christian Wood for, it was the 26th overall pick, correct?
Yeah, this was 26th.
Boban, Sterling Brown, who else was it? Trey Burke.
Trey Burke, and who's the last one?
He's a center. I can't remember his name.
Marquise Chris. That's what
yes, Marquise Chris. Just to start, overall grade for this trade for both teams.
I think for the Mavericks, I'd say this is maybe a B+ to A- trade.
Mm-hmm.
None of those guys were real rotation players, so they didn't give up anybody important to make this trade happen. I highly doubt they were going to do much with a 26th pick, so they're okay with losing that. And in return, they get a near all-star level big man. So I think Christian Wood is definitely going to be better with Luka than Porzingis was because he at least has somewhat of an inside game. So I think for sure that this pairing could be really good if everything goes the right way. So I think for the Mavericks, it's definitely a B+ to A-.
Mm-hmm. And as for the Rockets,
Oh man, for the Rockets, I'm probably gonna I'm just probably just gonna give it a D
mm-hmm,
because we gave up way too much in just Christian Wood by himself for what we got back. Now, I did see something that said that this gives us more financial flexibility, but here's my issue with that. Who is coming to Houston? We have been one of the worst teams in the league for the past 2 seasons. We're not making any kind of free agency move. So I don't know why we need financial flexibility. We should have traded and gotten at least one good player in return.
mm-hmm. As for myself, I have no other choice but to give the Mavericks an A+ for this trade because they absolutely stole from us. We watched it too. We
Oh
watched it
yeah.
happen,
Oh yeah.
and they didn't even have to run away with Christian Wood. They just walked away with him. But
Yeah. I think the only reason I didn't give it an A+ is just because based on the way Christian Wood started this season, I don't know exactly how he's going to work out.
mm,
And so that's the only reason it just wasn't a guaranteed A or A+.
so for me, the A+ is because, like you said, not a single one of those guys got real minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Boban played garbage minutes, so did Trey Burke. Everyone played garbage minutes.
Yeah, matter of fact, I think Marquise Chris was only on the team as like a COVID exception,
Mm-hmm.
I believe. So he definitely wasn't playing.
Right. Sterling Brown, I think, actually maybe got like 8 minutes a night, and that's if I'm right. Um, and I think Sterling Brown is probably the best player there, but he has no business being on our team.
Absolutely.
Um, the 26th pick, it's not terrible. I would have liked something more in the range of 18 to 20,
Mm-hmm.
but for what they gave up, which is absolutely nothing, and the 26th pick, which is I guess as minimal as value as you can get for a first overall pick. To get Christian Wood, like you said, a borderline all-star player to run those pick and rolls with Luka, even though Christian Wood is pretty bad at setting picks, I think that deserves an A+. For us, for the Rockets, I have to give it a C-
Mm-hmm.
just because we cleared room for Şengün to
Mm-hmm.
start now, which is good. We get another pick, which means we get another chance to hit on talent. But at the same time, I feel like that pick should have been higher. And obviously, the Mavericks didn't have a higher pick, but still, I think we could have kept Wood longer just to see what else we could have gotten.
Yeah, and that's my thing. I don't feel like they should get any points in this trade for clearing room for Şengün to start because we were supposed to be moving Christian Wood anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have happened regardless. I think the reason they don't get points for that is because he was going to be moved. So they should have moved him somewhere where we got better return on what we were sending out.
Well, the thing is, I've heard rumors that there was talks between him and the Rockets of signing an extension. And like I even said, like I told you, they did that man wrong by letting him throw out the first pitch at the Astros game 5 days before he got traded or whatever.
They pulled a Celtics on him. That's something that they would do.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him very little points for that. Like, I don't want to give him a D+ because, like I said, we get a pick, even though it's not a great pick. It could have been worse. We could have traded him for absolutely nothing. We could have not got a pick at all. Like, it definitely could have been worse, but it was not good at the same time.
Yeah, and you know, it could have been worse, and that's why I gave them a D and not an F.
If we would have had to take on Berton's contract, the Mavericks would have gotten an S plus
Oh
rating from
yeah,
me, and we would have got F.
they would have
Absolutely F.
they would have broken the American grading system and gone Japanese with the S.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, thankfully we didn't have to take on that contract. Um, Also, I heard that there's rumors that we are now looking to trade Eric Gordon for a first round pick, and that's been going on for a while now. But I'm guessing that teams are now once again starting up those talks. Do you think we could get a better package for Eric Gordon than we got for Christian Wood?
Honestly, I don't think so. I really don't. Christian Wood is definitely by far a better player. And so if that's what we're getting for Christian Wood, oh man, we're lucky to even get a first round pick for Eric Gordon.
So all the things that are working against Gordon is he's not a better player, he's older, and he's on a worse contract.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if we even get that first round pick. There's a chance we might have to get like 3 seconds or something like that, or 2 seconds, something. I don't know.
And that's assuming that we even move him in the first place.
That's also true.
There might just not be enough of a market for him out there for him to even get moved.
I definitely think there's a market, but it's how much they're willing to pay for him.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, based on, the totality of circumstances, there might not be enough of a market for him.
Right. Okay.
Teams aren't willing to take on that contract and the age for what he provides as a player.
Right. Okay. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about Christian Wood wise or Rockets wise?
Nope. That's all I had to say about this horrible trade.
Okay. And just before we go, I've been thinking about this one for a little while. Just a question I've been thinking about, I've been wanting to ask you. What do you think the ceiling is for Josh Christopher and KPJ?
Ooh, okay. For KPJ, I think maybe he has a couple of all-star seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for Josh Christopher, as long as he's a member of this team, I think his ceiling is maybe 6th man of the year.
Okay.
But maybe if somehow he ended up going to another team, gets more playing time, a better role, then he could possibly develop into that near all-star or maybe 1 or 2 time all-star kind of player.
So KPJ better than Prime Kemba?
Oh man, that's a crazy one. I don't know. I need to see KPJ drop a 60-point game before I say that one.
And since you said 6th man, Josh Christopher, better than I guess Prime Eric Gordon.
I think he could develop into being better than Eric Gordon.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that's reasonable and a good assessment. But yeah, those are definitely 2 questions that I've been wanting to ask you throughout this week that I've just been thinking about.
All right.
But all right, let's go and wrap this one up. This is going to be the end of the episode. If you like the episode, go ahead and like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Isaiah, any last comments?
The usual. Just share the podcast with as many people as you can to help us out and help us give you a better product.
All right, we will catch you on the next episode.